Bills Mafia, let me start by saying this loud and clear. This team is doing everything possible to keep improving, to keep getting better, and to give us the kind of season we've been dreaming of. The grind doesn't stop, the hunger doesn't stop, and the commitment from the organization is crystal clear. But today, we've got some tough news to break down together. Before we dive into it, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our exclusive Bills updates. It helps us reach more members of the Mafia and keeps this community growing strong. Now, let's talk about the heartbreaking news, what it means for the season, and why the Bills might not be done making moves. Just when things were starting to take shape, when fans were making their bold predictions about this season, reality hit us with a gut punch. The Buffalo Bills have officially lost defensive tackle Dwayne Carter, the 2024 third-round pick who was expected to be a big part of this year's defensive rotation. Reports confirm Carter tore his Achilles, and he's going to miss the entire 2025 NFL season. Now let that sink in. A player who many inside the organization viewed as a versatile and rising force on the defensive line, sidelined before the season even begins. Insider Jordan Schultz broke the news, and Bills fans across social media reacted with heartbreak. Carter had battled through a wrist injury last year, fought to get back, and this was supposed to be his breakout moment. Instead, he's facing another long, grueling rehab. It's not just about the depth chart. It's about losing a guy that GM Brandon Beane himself had praised just weeks ago for his ability to move across the line, to play one tech or three tech depending on what the roster needed. Beane made it clear Carter's versatility was a major asset. That's what stings most. This wasn't just another rotational piece. This was someone they were counting on to anchor the trenches. And let's not sugarcoat it, this hurts on a personal level too. Bills fans had connected with Carter quickly. He wasn't just another rookie. He was a symbol of that next generation of tough, smart, versatile defenders that McDermott and Beane have been trying to build around Josh Allen's prime years. When you think about Carter's story, the grind through college, the battles with injuries, and the chance to finally cement himself in Buffalo, it's devastating to see it cut short. These injuries remind us how brutal the NFL can be and why depth is everything. Now the big question is, how do the Bills respond? With Carter gone, the defensive tackle rotation takes a serious hit. The 53-man roster was just finalized, and already McDermott and Beane need to pivot. Losing a young interior defender like Carter forces the Bills to rethink not just snap counts, but overall strategy. This could open the door for veterans who are on the bubble or for younger guys to step up in training and seize a bigger role. But make no mistake, the front office is now exploring options because this defense cannot take a step back. Remember, last season, the Bills finished in the bottom half of the league in yards allowed per play. For a defense built by Sean McDermott, that's unacceptable. The pressure is on, and if there's a move to be made, you better believe Buffalo will be aggressive. Here's the way I see it, Bills Mafia. This season was always going to hinge on balance. The offense looks ready to torch anyone in its path, but to finally get over the hump in January, to take down teams like the Chiefs or the Ravens in the AFC, the defense has to hold its ground. Losing Carter is a brutal setback, no doubt, but it also might be the catalyst that pushes Beane and McDermott into another bold addition. Whether it's through a trade, a free agent signing, or someone unexpected stepping up, the Bills know they can't waste another year of Josh Allen's prime without giving him a defense that can match his firepower. The season opener is set for Sunday, September 7th against none other than the Baltimore Ravens. Talk about a measuring stick game. Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, two MVP-caliber quarterbacks, both teams with Super Bowl aspirations. Buffalo will need to show, right from the jump, that they can handle adversity and still deliver. It's what this franchise has been about for the last few years: resilience, grit, and refusing to back down. Jordan Poyer's return to Buffalo. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend, our all-pro safety is back with the Bills for a second stint. But this isn't just about football. This is about a 35-year-old veteran who has transformed his life, his game, and his entire outlook through a mind, body, and spirit approach. And let me tell you, this story is something Bills Mafia needs to hear. Poyer, entering his 13th NFL season, spent last year with the Miami Dolphins after 7 years with the Bills. When free agency rolled around this summer, things got quiet. No immediate offers, no camp invites. Some thought maybe this was the end of the road. But Poyer didn't see it that way. He didn't spend his summer on the couch or reminiscing about the good old days. No, he was grinding. He stayed in South Florida, running in that brutal heat, lifting and pushing his body to the limit. He even joked about training until he nearly threw up because he knew that's what it takes to keep football ready.
But here's what makes this chapter so different. Jordan Poyer isn't just focused on his body anymore. He's focused on his mind and his spirit. Over the last several years, he's gone deep into self-discovery, turning to plant-based medicines and spiritual retreats. Many of you probably remember when he joined Aaron Rodgers on that now famous ayahuasca retreat in Costa Rica. He called it a life-changing experience, diving into the depths of himself, confronting who he really is, and finding strength he didn't know he had. Earlier this summer, Poyer even went down to the Brazilian rainforest for another retreat. And get this, he wasn't just attending, he's now speaking at conventions, sharing what he's learned. In Denver, he talked at the Psychedelic Science Convention about the transformative power of the mind, and earlier in June, he even hosted a spiritual gathering where people came together to breathe, reflect, and reconnect. So how does all of this translate to football? That's the million-dollar question. And Poyer himself gave us the answer when he spoke this week in Orchard Park. He said the mental side of his game has become his greatest asset. Think about that for a moment. This is a guy who's already proven himself as one of the toughest, smartest, most reliable safeties in the league. And now with all this inner work, he's approaching the game with a completely new mindset. He explained that whether it's a bad play or a great one, he's learned to reset, grow, and move forward. For a veteran player on a team with Super Bowl aspirations, that kind of mentality is priceless. Imagine being a young safety like Cole Bishop, walking into the meeting room and having Jordan Poyer sitting across from you. Not just a football player, but a mentor who's mastered the mental side of the game. And here's where it gets emotional, Bills fans. Poyer calls this return to Buffalo coming home. After a year away in Miami, he's back in Orchard Park, back in blue and red, back with the fans who have always embraced him. He feels good, he feels ready, and he feels like there's still more to give. Now let's be real for a second. Poyer is 35. He's not the same guy who was flying around the field in 2019. But what he brings now is something different. He brings leadership, experience, and a calm that can stabilize a defense going through transition. With Micah Hyde retired and a new era of safeties forming, Poyer's presence, even on the practice squad to start, is invaluable. And let's not forget, the safety position has been one of the biggest question marks for this Bills team. Taylor Rapp has talent, but can be inconsistent in coverage. Cole Bishop is young and unproven. Bringing in Jordan Poyer, even if it's in a rotational or mentoring role, helps patch that hole in both the short term and the long term. But beyond X's and O's, this is a story about growth. This is a story about a man who's been to the Pro Bowl, been named All-Pro, battled through injuries, faced free agency uncertainty. And instead of crumbling, he's evolved. He's embraced change. He's found peace. And now he's bringing that energy back to Buffalo. So Bills Mafia, the big question for us is this. What do we expect from Jordan Poyer's second act in Buffalo? Do we believe he can still contribute on the field? Or do we see his biggest impact coming as a mentor and leader in the locker room? Personally, I think it's both. I think Poyer has enough left in the tank to help us in certain packages, and at the same time, he'll be that steady presence who reminds everyone, young guys and veterans alike, how to stay locked in, how to handle adversity, and how to keep striving for greatness. And let's not underestimate the emotional side of this reunion. Bills Mafia has always loved Jordan Poyer. We've celebrated his interceptions, his big hits, his passion. Now we get to celebrate something even more powerful, his return, his growth, and his willingness to pour everything he has left into this team. Family, this feels like the kind of story that makes you proud to be a Bills fan. Not just because of the wins and the stats, but because of the people, the journeys, and the heart behind the game. So here we are, Bills Mafia, a season filled with hope, now shadowed by a tough injury blow. Dwayne Carter is out, but the mission remains the same. Bring a Lombardi trophy to Buffalo. The front office has already brought back Jordan Poyer, and more moves could be on the horizon. The question is, will it be enough to keep this defense strong enough for a Super Bowl run? I want to hear from you. Do you think Brandon Beane needs to make another big trade to replace Carter? Are you confident in the guys already on the roster? And how do you feel about Poyer being back in the fold? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one because this is the kind of conversation only Bills fans understand. And don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join this growing community of die-hard Bills fans. We're riding this season together, through every high and every low, until the very end. This is Buffalo Beat News, and as always, go Bills!